If there's a secret back-to-school supply list for teens that they don't want parents to see,
I feel like it's just been a big craze for everybody.
the Juul vaping device would perhaps be at the top.
Everyone thought it was an okay alternative to smoking.
I honestly think it's like the smoke. Like, people love blowing out smoke.
The portability of them, the flavors, and the buzz and the smoke.
Isaiah, Ryan, and Tanner, high school kids in Littleton, are among thousands of Colorado teens who found the allure of vaping cool until they got hooked.
I would do anything to, get a hit in or whatever.
They quit amid news reports of illnesses, death, and startling numbers that show 1 out of 4 teens in Colorado vape, the highest rate nationally.
For about 3 months, I was nonstop vaping. I would go to the bathroom and use it, or if I was at home, I'd use it, and it was not good.
I was never told not to vape. I was told not to smoke.
What vape that I could compare this to?
And they see it not only at school, but inches from their face.
I really like it.
Vaping videos are constantly before their eyes through teen favorite apps like Instagram and Snapchat.
Because of influencers, taking hits of vapes and saying, oh, this is so good, it's better than cigarettes, you should try it.
Not only has Juul permeated the online teen universe, we've learned the company has attempted to actually get into Colorado schools. Last year, the Department of Health alerted schools across the state, saying Juul has contacted some Colorado schools seeking their participation in a prevention program designed by the e-cigarette manufacturer.
Colorado has traditionally been a test market for the tobacco industry. So the tobacco industry has a history of taking new products and marketing them in Colorado before they market them in the rest of the region and in the country.
If vape companies do see Colorado as a test market, numbers show kids are acing that test. Colorado schools reported 1,300 tobacco violations to the state 3 years ago. Last year, reported violations doubled. Regionally, vaping rates among high schoolers are high all over the map, according to the state's latest survey. Southwest Colorado around Gunnison, Ouray, and Montrose report the highest, with nearly 40% of teens who say they vaped in the past 30 days. Pueblo County and Boulder are right behind that. The Denver metro area shows the lowest teen vaping rates in Colorado, but it's still high at 17%. Compare that to adults nationally who do vape at less than 3%.
I feel like it's really blown up and is pretty out of control with teens right now. This one here looks like a Zippo lighter.
That rise in vaping use prompted Littleton Public Schools to have substance abuse specialist Katrina Vigil spend most of her time trying to get kids to quit.
It really is something that we're seeing across the board.
Vaping incidents jumped from 24 in the whole year of 2015 to more than 200 so far this year.
It's not necessarily just troubled kids or kids that are doing drugs. It's something that is across the board, from kids who are involved in sports, kids who are doing well academically, as well as kids that are struggling. But I don't think it has any limitations to a certain demographic of student.
She runs a pilot program called Second Chance. Instead of immediate suspension for vaping, kids are diverted to an online class that tells them vaping nicotine can slow down their brain development and cause lung disease.
Because ultimately, suspending a student from school for vaping, they're going to be at home and continuing to vape.
When did you start to realize, oh my gosh, we are dealing with something here that is maybe a little bit out of our control?
I think it was probably the first time I had a 4th grader who brought one to school.
The man responsible for discipline district-wide in Littleton is Nate Thompson.
Why Colorado?
Yeah. I absolutely think it's connected to the legalization of marijuana.
During his 12 years in the district, Colorado legalized marijuana while vape companies pumped $100 million into marketing across the country.
Colorado was a perfect target for a vaping device and a vaping company like Juul, because if you think about it, we're already a state who's now got an entire network set up around how do you go get smoking devices, and the idea of a smoking culture is permeated in Colorado.
Perhaps the trend is driven by this statistic. While nearly 90% of kids got the message smoking is bad, half of them believe vaping is harmless.
Everyone thought it was an okay alternative to smoking. They thought it was okay to do. The smoke had no harm.
The number of deadly lung illness cases.
But now that harm is in the news, and Vigil worries kids are trading vaping for smoking.
I think the hard part with that is rather than vaping, there are students that I've talked to that are going back to tobacco and going back to cigarettes because they view that as a safer alternative to vaping, which is really ironic considering that vaping was intended to do that for cigarettes.
When they vape, teen brains actually develop around nicotine, so it's really harder for them to quit than adults, which is why National Jewish Health in Denver started MyLifeMyQuit.com. It's a program specifically for teens hooked on vaping to get help through that national program. Teens can actually text to that program, so it's really geared to how they communicate.
And a number of cities are trying to restrict the access for young people to vaping products.
And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. About 30 cities in Colorado have changed their age from 18 to 21. Colorado could change statewide next year. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow night, we talk about what's being done to make sure shops and online retailers don't sell to kids. It's a big problem.
All right. Jeremy, thank you.
Sure.